Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and it's our pleasure to welcome you to the fourth annual supporters evening for Makomborero. And thank you so much for joining us tonight. My name is Nick and I will be your host this evening. And before we start, just a few quick housekeeping tips for you as attendees. I recommend you use the set your Zoom to the active speaker mode. You'll probably see things best then. You can change those settings by clicking the icon in the top right-hand corner of your screen, particularly if you're on a laptop or a PC, and just click on active speaker. This evening's events will also be visible on Facebook Live, so if there's anybody you know who hasn't been able to register and join us through Zoom, just point them towards the Makomborero Facebook page and we should be able to be seen through the Facebook page. We are recording this event and we will be sharing the recording to all the attendees by email over the next couple of days. If during the evening you would like to raise a question, we have a Q&A function at the bottom of the screen. So just click on Q&A at the bottom and please raise your question and say who it's directed to. We will have a live Q&A session at the end of the evening. Now, I'd just quickly like to introduce the team who has made this evening possible. Soon you will meet Tunde, our chairman, and later Nathan will be interviewing 3 of our alumni. Trustees Nicola, Simba and Tanatsa are the Makomborero elves who are working behind the scenes and will be dealing with any questions. And then finally, Mark and Laura Alberton, our founders, will hopefully be joining us from Zimbabwe. I have seen them on the list here, so it looks like their connection is working. So we keep our fingers crossed. Finally, I'm just going to bring up the agenda so you know what we're going to be doing for today. And share my screen. There we go. So the agenda for this evening, we'll just shortly have the chairman's welcome from Tunde. Then we'll have our first video of the evening on expanding horizons. Then a few words regarding our Big Give 2020 campaign. We'll have our second video taking a look at the resource center in Harare. Then we will have a conversation with 3 of our graduated alumni who are actually all here in the UK at the moment. We'll have a thank you video from our founders, Mark and Laura, and then we'll have the live Q&A at the end of the evening. Right. So I think you've probably heard enough of me speaking for the moment. So I would then like to hand over to our chairman, Tunde.
Hi, my name is Tunde Olarunfemi, and I am thrilled to welcome you to tonight's event. This is an annual program we put on to keep supporters like you updated, as well as give insight to those looking in on us. I've been chairman of the UK board since 2010, and I can honestly say it is the most rewarding thing I've done, that I actually do. It's been both humbling and inspiring to see Makomborero touch the lives of over 200 young Zimbabweans. These are people whose rich potential would have been lost in the fog of poverty. Like many across this planet, their dreams, which are as valid as yours and mine, would have been crushed under the sheer weight of just striving to survive. I am forever in awe of Mark and Laura, my favorite Zimbabweans, plus their great team and the tenacity of their commitment creates a unique product that has not only survived the harsh environment, but has constantly evolved to ensure nothing dampens their passion to raise kids who will live more than just seeking out an existence. Whether it's the resource center that provides a fantastic A-level program in partnership with schools, whether it's wholesome experiences and life skills provided that prepare the students to embrace a broader horizon beyond their immediate context, whether it's university scholarships that ensure beneficiaries fully harness their potential, or entrepreneurship schemes that kickstart ventures to sustain livelihoods for more than just households, but offer community benefits. I am blown away by Makomborero's drive to make an impact at every level it can influence and with every opportunity it gets. Tonight, you will hear from the alumni as you see for yourself evidence of these big dreams and huge ambitions, not just for themselves, but more importantly, their families, communities, Zimbabwe, and the world at large. It is frightening to think that these same bright minds could easily have been lost to us. Thankfully, they have been empowered by Makomborero to change their world by impacting their generation. I do not want to give much away because this will come across better than I can ever express when you see and hear from the rest of the evening. Notwithstanding, I want to leave you with one thought. Life is nothing more than a journey, and everyone who walks through it leaves a footprint. Sometimes these prints are so light, the wind easily blows sand over it to cover its trace, so you won't even know anyone has trod there before. But then there are those that leave indentations so deep, it creates a path that others can take advantage of and follow. This is what Makomborero does. It creates a pathway for people to walk through so they can leave their marks along the way and others can walk on. No doubt the talent is there, as these kids are naturally bright. Our role is simply to brush off the mud so that the treasure in them can emerge. I have no idea what extent these fine young men and women will impact their world, but I do know a flame has been lit and stirred in their hearts, and this will light up their paths and brighten their worlds. I want you to relax and be immersed in these stories so you can see how your support has been instrumental in creating a pathway into making this world just a little bit better. Thank you once again, and please enjoy your evening. Thank you.
Thank you, Tunde. Thank you so much for those lovely words. I'm sure they will have struck home with many people. Now, we'd like to show our first video of the evening. Many people often ask us why we focus our support on a few students at our partner private schools in Harare, rather than spreading the money more thinly and helping more students at their existing government schools. This video aims to answer that question. This year's COVID-19 lockdown has made the creation of these videos quite challenging. So we would like to thank our alumni and students for their help in creating this content. And we ask for your indulgence where the sound quality is variable. You may find it necessary to boost your volume for a couple of these clips.
This land, our land, is our Zimbabwe, a land of peace for you and me, once born in pain and segregation, but now we live in harmony.
At Makomborero, we are often asked why our model is to educate just 8 children a year at 3 of Harare's top private schools, rather than pay for many more students at their government schools. We put this question to some of our alumni and asked them how they felt they had benefited from attending a private school rather than continuing in their government schools. Here's what they had to say.
I was part of Makomborero, Zimbabwe, and I went to Gateway High School for 2 years of my A-level. At Gateway, I served as a team leader, and this is where I was taught leadership. I was taught that leadership is not just about having privileges of feeling more special than everyone else, but it's really about servant leadership, being committed to making an impact, and just serving your teammates. And that seed that was planted in me of really good leadership, putting others before me, is a skill that I've continued to carry even at Penn State with the current leadership positions that I take right now.
For me, the greatest value that came from the opportunity to go and study at a private school was just the exposure to meet people from different backgrounds. And I think that exposure kind of helped me to become the person who's open to not seeing things from just one perspective, and open me to learn about different cultures and different lifestyles that people around the world are living. And I found that really useful because when I came to university, I didn't have as much of a culture shock as some of my peers who hadn't gone to a private school.
Through Makomborero, Zimbabwe, I learned the essence of community and the importance of restoration of hope. Makomborero, Zimbabwe assisted me in securing a scholarship to further my undergraduate studies at United States International University Africa in Kenya under the Mastercard Foundation Scholars Program. All these experiences taught me how to become a better leader and be a global citizen who is prepared to tackle the challenges of education and women empowerment.
I started running long distances after getting the Makomborero scholarship at St. George's. It was so easy for me to get into my school team, which is typical of an undiscovered talent. Makomborero brings out the best out of people, and I believe the way in which I've benefited is not unique. But I continue to run every day, not only to keep myself fit, but for some charity organizations and events as well. I miss the boarding house, Mrs. A and Banga, and the hardworking Makomborero staff. They have had a significant impact on my personal development, even up to today, as I continue to curiously find out what else I can do. For now, I have a couple of miles to finish.
So as a member of the Gateway High School Senior Choir and Band, I got the opportunity to learn how to play various musical instruments and how to express myself through singing. And I think it's been very helpful to just explore something that is outside of academics that I can do in my own time. I am a very passionate musician. I enjoy composing, and I feel like it was a good base for me to start all of this.
The scholarship was an opportunity for me to grow as a person. I was able to build my confidence. When I got to Gateway, I was a little shy girl, but then I was able to get out of my shell. I was able to do sports. I was in the netball first team. Before that, I thought that I was supposed to do school only. But then when I got to Gateway, I was able to do other things. I was also in the drama club, and I was able to act on the Shona night.
Before Makomborero, I was sort of living in a valley, and my view to life was obstructed because all I cared about was grades and studying. And I'm so grateful that I was afforded the chance to go to St. George's College through Makomborero, because from this experience, I got to see the world in a different perspective, that I had to pay attention to my mental health, that I had to pay attention to my physical fitness. I started doing what I do out of purpose rather than obligation from the society. And I believe that there are many students in Zimbabwe who have dreams and visions of a brighter future, students who are yearning for positive change in Zimbabwe. And I do believe that they can only, and we can only, achieve this positive change when our mindsets are changed.
Now flies the flag, our nation's glory. We live with pride inside our hearts as we all stand to build our nation. This our land, our Zimbabwe.
Over the years of running Makomborero, we have learned how important it is for our students to develop these softer skills.
When we started Makomborero, I don't think we ever really thought about the life skills element. And as the years have gone by, we've realized that this is a vital component to what we do, and that what we offer in our life skills program is often very life-changing for our students.
Our life skills program covers topics such as body language and cultural communication, mental health, team building, CV writing, robotics workshops, and art therapy. And wherever we can, we encourage our students to grasp any opportunity to take part in extracurricular activities rather than just focusing on academics.
They destroyed the fear in me. Before Makomborero Zimbabwe came in my life, I was afraid to be in front of an audience, but now I can say that Makomborero Zimbabwe really changed my life, because now I can say that I am a good public speaker. What they taught me is that life isn't all about academics, life isn't all about good grades, but life is also about sport. So they created a thirst of knowledge in me, and I started playing basketball. And in last year, in 2019, I was in my school team. And all I can say is that thank you, Makomborero Zimbabwe, for changing my life.
Under the leadership skills, I learned how important teamwork is and how to communicate with others well, not overlooking the fact that I learned how to paint at Makomborero, Zimbabwe. I'm forever grateful.
First of all, I learned about teamwork. I learned how to associate with others, combining thoughts, and to solve certain problems. And I also learned not to shy away when you want to raise your points or views. I also learned to speak out, and I also learned how to share my story in a positive light, and how to be vibrant. And currently, I'm vibrant at school, like trying everything. And I also learned to help others as well when you have the chance, and also to seek help when needed.
Ever since I became a Makomborero Zimbabwe scholar, I've had a lot of opportunities. One time, I was in Nyanga for a leadership session with a renowned leadership trainer. And on one other occasion, I was writing an international life sciences Olympiad. Such opportunities that I wouldn't have if I wasn't a Makomborero Zimbabwe scholar.
So what I've learned is that as a candidate and as a responsible citizen, you should be somebody with a vision board, a mental picture of where you want to go. And the other aspect that I've learned is that teamwork can be actually an asset that can actually help you to spur to greater heights. So being a Makomborero Zimbabwe, I actually feel humbled, and I believe that we can actually aspire to greater heights with all those lessons that we have learned in the life building sessions that we actually had at the boarding house.
I think what really begins to happen at the end of the day is students really begin to believe in who they are, that they have something of significance to offer the world. And the life skills also include what can I give back to my community? Where can I impact my community? What can I do?
Tosimudza unomureza tobatanidza moyo yedu tosimuka kuti tivake inonyika yeZimbabwe. Now flies the flag, our nation's glory. We live with pride inside our hearts as we all stand to build our nation. This our land, our Zimbabwe. This our land, our Zimbabwe.
There we go. Thank you very much for that first video. And I must say thank you very much to the Makomborero elves who were running around like mad to get that going. So very pleased to have shown you that video. And then I'd just like to move on to the next part of the evening. Right. I just want to take this opportunity for us to introduce the Big Give. The Big Give is something that Makomborero has taken part in previous years, and it's always been a great asset for us in terms of the fundraising for us towards the end of the year. The Big Give Challenge is launching on Giving Tuesday. If you don't already know, Giving Tuesday is the day that comes after Black Friday and Cyber Monday, when people think actually they should maybe be giving a bit out rather than spending money. So that starts on Tuesday, the 1st of December. The campaign lasts for 7 days, and our target this year is to raise £2,000 or more if we can, but £2,000 would be absolutely amazing. And the benefit, the reason we want to try and do that is if we reach the target of £2,000, we will get 100% matching. So we will receive an additional £2,000 from our pledges and from our corporate champions. So that is the aim of for the next week starting on Tuesday. The focus of this particular campaign is the Girl Mentorship Program. If you haven't already heard about the Girl Mentorship Program, please check out the Makomborero website. But it is a campaign where we've been helping young women in 3 or 4 schools around Harare to stay in education and not drop out. Please do check out the website for more information about that. So we ask for your help over the next week starting on Tuesday. Please do spread the word on social media about this and help us reach that target of £2,000. And if you are able to donate, please do so. While I have your attention also at this time of year, just wanted to highlight a couple of other ways how you might be able to assist Makomborero. Amazon Smile, many of you probably are already using Amazon, but if you are able to go to smile.amazon.co.uk, you'll be able to select a charity of your choice, and hopefully you'll select Makomborero. And that means that anytime you make any future purchases through Amazon, through the Smile website or Smile part of Amazon, that will generate an income for Makomborero at no cost to yourself. So it's a win-win scenario. So please, anytime you're shopping on Amazon, go via smile.amazon.co.uk. Then finally, also, we work together with the partners at don'tsendmeacard.com. So please do log on to this website and select Makomborero as your charity, and that will allow you to send both personal and company electronic Christmas cards, and any money that you would have saved on Christmas cards, you can donate towards Makomborero. Right, I'll move on to the next one. So the next video is a bit called A Home Away from Home. We thought it would be a nice idea to show you where our internal students live during the week when they're interning school. And we asked some of the residents to give you a personal tour of the resource centre.
Hi, welcome to Makomborero. My name is Tediwa and I'm an Upper 6 at Hellenic Academy. Today I'm going to be giving you a tour of the house that I live in when I'm going to school. So come with me. So this is the mobile science lab, and it was designed a few years ago to assist 15-year-old students from township areas with their practical skills. And this is what it looks like. And now I'm going to take you to Shalom, who's going to give you a tour of the main house.
Hello, I'm Shalom, an Upper 6 student at Hellenic Academy. I'm going to be taking you through the main house. We are going to the girls' rooms first. So this is the Upper 6 girls' room. This is my most favorite room in the house because it holds lots of memories. So sometimes we just come in here to relax and read novels. So this is the lower 6's girls' room. We have 5 girls this year. This is the room we used to be in before we moved to the Upper 6's room. I kind of miss this room, and we usually come here to just chill with the lower 6's and watch movies together and chat. This is the kitchen. This is where most of our meals are made, and I would say this is the boys' most favorite room. It's the rush to this room soon after coming from school. I like the days, especially when we do dishes during the night and we sing and dance to music in here together. So this is the study area. This is where we do most of our studies, but people are not confined in here. You often find people in the garden, in the veranda, or even in their rooms doing their studies. So this is the lounge. This is where we sit, chat, and have group discussions together. We also have dinner together here, and we watch movies together. We also sometimes play games, and we have Bible study sessions. Some people just come here to relax and read their novels or books This is the veranda. It's sort of like an extension to the study area. You can see desks here. People come to study here. And people also come to play ping pong there. And I personally like it during the morning when it's cool. And I just come here for the fresh air and the nice view of the swimming pool. So now I'm going to take you to Bradley.
Alright, welcome to the pool. This is my personal favorite space. During the weekends, this is where people come to swim and just hang out, have fun, take a break from the academic life. We play all kinds of games and we do swimming tournaments. So it's a really fun place to be. We also have an orchard. Right, so this is the orchard. We have about 15 different types of trees, including peach trees, mulberry trees, mango trees, avocado, and many more. So let's get a close-up view of the trees. So this is one of our mango trees. Come to the vegetable garden. Let me show you. Right, so this is our vegetable garden. Let's go meet Simon.
Hi, I'm Simon and I am going to take you to the boys' rooms. Okay, so here we are. These are the boys' rooms, and as you can see, there are 3 rooms and we all live in those 3 rooms, and then the other one there, the second from the last, from the end, is the room for our auntie, and then the first one is our bathroom, and we really enjoy it here. And as you can see, we have our solar panels over there so that we actually have warm water during the winters, and even during the summer we have warm water, and it's really a pleasure to be here. So this is one of our rooms, and this is for our lower sixes, and there are 4 lower six living in this house. As you can see, there are 4 beds, and these are the 2 tables we usually study in the year, especially during the nights when we cannot be at the main house. Okay, so this is our shower, and we actually have 3 showers, so it makes it really comfortable for us. This is the end, and I really hope you enjoyed the tour of our boarding house, and I hope that gives you an impression of what it is like to be here, and really appreciate everything you do for us. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much for that second video. It was great to see where the students call home, and it's amazing to think that the kids had to quarantine in tents in the grounds upon their return from lockdown. Now we move on to come to the part of the evening that I've looked forward to most, and now that is to hear from some of our Makomborero alumni. Our trustee Nathan will host a conversation with Leslie and Tombi and Michael. So this is a heads up for you guys to turn on your videos and unmute yourselves. And so I'd like to hand over to Nathan. Over you go.
Thanks, Nick, and good evening, everybody. Hopefully you can all hear me. And I'm shortly going to be joined by 3 of our alumni students. So I'm Nathan. As Nick said, I have the privilege of being a trustee and treasurer for Makomborero UK. And at Makomborero, we're so proud and regularly humbled by the incredible achievements of all of our students. Tonight, we've got the opportunity to interview 3 of our alumni, all of whom have demonstrated sheer determination, not only during their time with us at Makomborero, but unsurprisingly, this has been a theme that has continued well beyond their formative years as A-level students. And really, this is kind of a great opportunity for you to meet some of our alumni. This is something that is going from strength to strength and is already a really powerful network of like-minded young Zimbabweans who are all leaders in their own right. However, as you'll hopefully get a glimpse this evening, we really believe in the potential of this network to as change makers to improve the lives of many others for decades to come. So tonight we're going to hear from Lesline, Michael, and Tombi, who were all past students with Makomborero. In Lesline's case, dating back to 2011. So all of our panelists are currently living and studying in the UK, which is excellent, and where they're all continuing to develop their careers in different ways. So it's brilliant that they could be with us this evening. I'm going to introduce the students one by one and pose a couple of questions to get us started. I would encourage you to engage with this session, and if you can, pose your own questions through the Q&A. And what we'll endeavour to do is to try and put your questions to the students, either at the end of this section or during the final panel interview at the end of the evening. And our students have kindly agreed to take those questions. So Lesline, or Dr. Lesline, I should say, coming to you first. So you were not only one of our first pioneer students in 2011, but you also helped lay foundations for others as the first of a number of medical students to graduate after your time with Makomborero, and eventually going on to graduate as a Bachelor of Medicine and General Surgery in 2019, a culmination of over a decade's study and work experience. So can you just talk us through that journey, maybe your academic journey, both with Makomborero and then the University of Zimbabwe, right up to maybe some of your recent work experience in pediatrics and orthopedic surgery in Harare? And maybe just touch on some of those highlights and some of the inspirational role models along the way.
Okay. Can you see me?
Yep.
Okay. Hi, everyone. Thank you, Nathan. I have to say the first two videos have just sort of like brought back many good memories and emotions about the time that I had at Makomborero, even though it's 8-9 years ago. But yeah, the journey is long. I can take the whole day just telling everyone the good experience, but I'm going to just give you an overview. So my educational journey started in Budiriro. This is where I did my primary education, and then I went to Mufakose 2 High School. That's where I did my secondary education. And whilst I was there, that's when I got the scholarship from Makomborero. And the way it was working back then was that the headmaster or the headmistress would sort of recommend the students that she or he thought had a brighter future, were promising. So that's why I was chosen, and I applied, I got the scholarship. And I have to say, for the 2 years that I was at Makomborero, it was amazing. I saw Mr. A and Mrs. A and all the other trustees just going out of their way to make sure that everything was in place for us to pass, for us to get on with our lives. And whilst I was at Makomborero, I also saw other doors opening. For example, we met a lot of people, and in my case, I met a couple that was working for a certain company, which they recommended me to apply for scholarship so that for the next 5.5 years, I didn't have to worry for my tuition fees. So I got the scholarship, and when I started my medical school, the scholarship was taking care of my tuition, and Makomborero was still helping me with other expenses. So as you all have had, or some of you are experiencing, medical school is long, it's hard, it's full of ups and downs. But because of all that financial support, I managed to just focus on my studies. And I have to say, I did pretty well because I came 12th in my class. We're talking about a class of over 200 students. So I did very well. And after 5.5 years, I have to say I was looking forward to being financially independent, to start supporting Makomborero, not just by giving time, but actually financially. I was really looking forward to financially support other students. However, Zimbabwean economy didn't allow that. So as soon as I graduated, I went straight to work, and it was a difficult time overall. It was exciting, but it was also difficult because the economy was going down and we were understaffed. Many doctors were leaving the country. Some, they were even leaving the medical field and doing other businesses because the money, because the money value was depreciating. Most of my colleagues, they couldn't afford to take care of themselves. It was so bad that about 6-7 months down the line, most people had to move in back with their parents because they couldn't take care of themselves. And to add to that, there was a doctor strike, and it took a long time from September all the way to January. And I have to say, up now, the situation hasn't quite gotten back to where it was before. But whilst I was there, I also learned a lot of things. I learned teamwork, to work with the little that you have and make the most out of it. Even though there was a strike, I managed to keep on going so that I can assist in emergencies. And wow, yeah, it was quite an experience. And I have to say, after December, when I got married, when the strike started, my career was on hold. So I had to think in terms of career progression, what can I do? And then I decided that it's better to move to the UK, where my husband was already staying, so that I can further my career. And being here, I can, if I get a job, I can also support other students in a much bigger way than what I would do if I was in Zimbabwe. And as of now, I'm in the process of writing exams so that I can start work here. And because of COVID, there's been a bit of a delay, but I know that eventually I'm going to get there. I have to say that my life has been an inspiration to many people, starting with my family. I have siblings who look up to me. My brother was studying very hard. My little brother, 8 years old, was studying very hard, and he told my mom that he wanted to be a genius like Leslie. I didn't know I was a genius, but to him, I am a genius. And other neighbors, they would bring their kids over to our house so that I can just give them a motivational speech. I also talk to other Makomborero Zimbabwe students who are in medical school, so that I can just motivate them and talk them through my journey so that they can see that it's possible and achievable to pass medical school. And I have to say, I've met a lot of people who have inspired me, on top of Mr. and Mrs. A. They're the Rainers. I'm still in contact with them even here in the UK. Very lovely people, very lovely people. And I have to say, the thing that I want the most is to be at a financial position where I can support another Makomborero student. Yes, I can support in terms of time, in terms of other means, but I would like to financially support a Makomborero student. I have covered a lot, a bigger part of my journey, and I still have a long way to go.
Thanks so much, Leslie. That's great. It's just so exciting to hear the ups and the downs. As you say, working in medicine is always a high pressure world, but particularly working, as a junior doctor in Zimbabwe, we can imagine, is incredibly tough. So, incredible that you'll be giving back and as a role model to others. So thanks for sharing that. I think if we can come to you next, Michael. So you're currently studying a master's in renewable energy at the University of Edinburgh, which is one of the world's leading research centres for renewables. So I'm aware that sustainability for you has been a huge focus, both academically and in your experience over the last few years, noting that you've already gained quite valuable work experience on solar irrigation projects, wind tunnels, solar-powered teleco, and agricultural projects. So you've already got quite a bit of experience under your belt. So maybe you could just share with us, when did your interest in sustainability develop, and where do you hope it will take you in the future?
I hope you can hear me.
Yes, yep.
Okay, so I'll try to answer the question in two parts. So I'll start with when my interest in sustainability really started.
So before I joined Makomborero, I started my education in Weta. That's it's a village in Zimbabwe. So I was looking at things like I couldn't do my homework at night. So back then I wasn't really interested in sustainability or anything. I was just interested in getting light at night. So that's when my interest in electricity really started. And then as time went on, I began to develop interest in physics and math, and I think I was quite decent at the subjects. So really, the turning point for me was the time when I joined Makomborero, because I was interested in electrical. I was interested in electrical engineering, but then I was looking at it from this perspective that once I'm done with my degree, then I can get a job at one of the utility companies and stuff. But then joining Makomborero was a turning point, because I got to have conversations with my fellow peers, which I think is for me is the most important thing about Makomborero, being able to share a boarding house with like-minded people, people who are doing amazing stuff in their life. So when I got to Makomborero, I think that's when my vision for studying electrical engineering was really clarified, and actually I would say it was intensified when I joined Makomborero, because of the career sessions that we had, and some of the conversations that we had with people that came from all over the world to come and visit us at the boarding house. So after Makomborero, then I joined Ashesi University, which is a liberal arts college in Ghana, on a MasterCard Foundation scholarship. So it was really at at Ashesi University where I developed the interest in sustainable energy, because in my journey of studying electrical engineering, I came to a point where I understood why we do not have electricity, why we have power problems back at home, because you're looking at things like the investment, but also we're also looking at how sustainable are some of the solutions that we are developing. So that's when I developed this interest in sustainable energy, especially renewable energy. To be specific for Zimbabwe, solar energy. So then that's when I made the decision that I wanted to further my my studies in electrical engineering, but with a focus on renewable energy. So that's what I'm doing at the moment at the University of Edinburgh. So to answer the second question, which is about where do I think sustainability is going to take me? So one of the key things about Makomborero for me is that it's the broadening of the horizon. It's the opportunities, the privilege that you get to dream big, not just to think about the community that you are in, not just to think about the country, not even the continent, but you think about the world at large. So I believe that my interest in sustainability is going to take me to maybe my next job, which is what I'm looking for. I'm looking for a job in energy consultancy, as well as in the near future. I hope that I can start an energy consultancy company back home, to try and develop energy solutions that are not only going to electrify Zimbabwe, but electrify it in a sustainable and a way that is clean, just like how the rest of the world is doing it.
It's brilliant. It's so good to hear, and it's so exciting. I think when we look at poverty alleviation, one of the most significant opportunities really is just stable infrastructure. You know, if you can provide electricity and lighting, then obviously businesses can open and run for longer with, you know, proper tools and tooling and things like that. So, you know, it's a massive opportunity. You know, how do you hope to mobilize that and your skills and capability, but also unlock opportunities in the future for Zimbabwe?
Like you said, the key thing about any solutions that we're going to develop in the future starts with energy. When you provide energy to the people, then you unlock a whole lot of opportunities. So I believe with the skills that I'm going to acquire working and studying in the UK, I believe I can transfer those skills back to Zimbabwe, and hopefully be able to bring energy to the people. And the most important thing for me, right, is to try and develop, try and give people solutions to some of the problems. So that's the reason why like I said, I would like to start an energy consultancy company, because I believe that when you look at one organization, it's almost impossible for them to be thinking about what the organization is about, at the same time thinking about doing things in a sustainable way. So if you've got an organization that is solely set up to develop sustainable solutions, then you know that people are going to focus on other aspects of their business, but when it comes to sustainability, then they're going to come to you. And I hope that we'll be able to deliver those sustainable solutions to many organizations.
That's great. Thanks so much, Michael. And it's really inspiring to hear that you're already thinking way into the future about how to unlock some of those opportunities. So thanks for sharing that. And finally, last but certainly not least, Tombi. So Tombi graduated from Makomborero in 2015, and after winning a scholarship to study biomedical chemistry at the Arizona State University, this summer you came here to Cambridge on a much coveted Gates Foundation scholarship with the Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation. So for anybody who's not familiar with this scholarship, aside from academic excellence, Gates Foundation scholars have all demonstrated a deep devotion to improving the lives of others, as evident by past, current and future commitment to the societies in which they live, work, and a capacity for leadership. Candidates must show exceptional leadership elements and a pledge to take others with them as future leaders in the fields and communities in which they live and work. So, really sums up very much the kind of ethos of Makomborero. So maybe, Tombi, you could talk us through your journey up to winning this incredible scholarship at Cambridge, but also I think we'd all like to hear what your research is currently centered around. I won't give any spoilers, but it's certainly very timely. Thanks,
Hello,
Tombi.
everyone. I graduated from Gateway under Makomborero scholarship in 2015, and then I got a scholarship to Arizona State University, and then graduated 2019, which was last year. So for Gates scholarship, they quite consider like leadership, demonstration in leadership, commitment to improving lives, and also academic record. I was quite fortunate enough that I managed to showcase all of that. So during my undergraduate years, I sort of maintained a good track record of good grades throughout my academic years, and which also landed me into the honors college where I completed my thesis project on cervical cancer. So I was mainly looking at biomarkers to help with early detection of cervical cancer. And then from there, I graduated from Arizona, and then I also worked as a middle school science teacher, where I taught students science and also helping them to understand science in ways they can comprehend. I was also involved in other extracurricular activities. For instance, I organized events and workshops where about 3,000 plus students could attend, and I would actually give them workshops. So all these kind of activities, they all come together for this scholarship. Well, for this, right now I'm studying a PhD program here at Cambridge. So my research project is focused on respiratory immunology. You might say it like respiratory infections, which is very timely because we have COVID. Yeah, so I'm mainly looking at ways we can actually improve the environment in the lungs so that it can be, so we can prevent harmful responses or body responses, so that the lungs can actually sort of be resistant to the virus. So in short, all I'm trying to say is we are trying to make lungs superheroes in this fight with viruses. So, and this is very crucial, especially, with pandemics. We can understand, we can find ways or therapeutic ways we can actually work against this viral pandemics.
Brilliant. It's just so exciting again, just to hear just the power of this network that you've all succeeded so much, worked so hard, and this network will go on and continue to be really powerful in supporting us, supporting society, and helping build Zimbabwe into the future. So just maybe I could just ask Tom, you to elaborate on the support you received during your time with Makomborero. If you could just think back and maybe some of the key leadership learnings you received during that time. I know you've been really instrumental in the Makomborero Girl Mentorship program, but also our alumni program. So maybe just talk to us a little bit about some of those things that you've touched upon there.
Well, I'll tell a brief background about my background. So I come from I would say poverty-stricken area and actually patriarchal-dominated society. And coming from these kind of areas, it's really hard for a female child to actually thrive in this kind of environments, especially with the norms such as like a girl child, like their ultimate goal is to be married, or you can only dream nowhere beyond the kitchen. So it's just like really hard. And with Makomborero coming in to finance my education, it really sort of like opened doors for me, opportunities for me. And that really touched my heart to also like help other girls as well. So with Makomborero, they kind of taught me the idea of how like it is our role to help other people as well. Like if you're an educated girl, you're also supposed to educate others as well. So this is like our fight together. It's not just you alone, but it's also empowering other people as well. So since I was also helped as well, it is also my duty to help other people. Hence, I was also part of this girls mentorship program. And Makomborero, they also taught me like the value of education. Like I mentioned before, coming from a male-dominated society, normally it's just few girls who go to school because like in our communities, they value educating the male child. And just like being a representative, like for instance, me, I'm studying STEM fields, careers, and this is more like also an inspiration to other people. So I'm more like leading by example. So all these kind of lessons, they all like come together to help me, and also at the same time helping other people as well through me.
Brilliant. That's great. Thank you so much. There's been a few questions, which is great. There's been some good audience participation. So if you could just all come off mute and maybe we could take it in turns to answer some of these. So maybe this first question I'll just pose to all of you, if you could just maybe just have a quick think, nothing too in depth, but what do you think you would be doing if you hadn't had the opportunities Makomborero had given you? So I don't know who wants to go first. Anyone's got an answer to that?
Well, for me, I think definitely I'll be out of school because I remember when I finished my high school, I didn't have enough money to go for like to further my education. So it was a matter of like my parents like deciding it's either I'll end up like getting married because that's like the norm in our country. Like in order to offset this poverty issues we face each and every day, you have to get married, especially for girls. So I think I'll be like in those kind of setups if these people didn't come in my life. So.
Okay, thanks for that. Michael, if I pose the same question to you, what do you think you'd be doing right now? I guess you wouldn't be in Edinburgh.
Definitely, I wouldn't be in Edinburgh. So what I think is most of the people my age, if they don't go to school, which I think would have happened if I didn't get a chance to be part of Makomborero, I think I would probably be doing something like driving a commuter or minibus or doing something like that. So yeah, that was probably the only way that I would have survived because really there was no other way.
Yeah, thanks for that. And Leslie, what about you? What do you think you've been doing right now? I think you're just on mute, Leslie, and if you just want to come off mute. You just,
okay.
Yeah.
Oh, that's a tough question, but
yeah,
my parents have always been very hardworking. So I think I may not have been able to go to a medical school because definitely we can't afford that. We could not have afforded that. But I think maybe I could have went on to do a much cheaper degree program or even diploma.
Yeah.
That's what I think.
Yeah. You're still been very keen to study in
yes.
Yeah, got that thirst for learning, which is great, which all of our students obviously have. Thanks, Leslie.
Okay.
Got a question here from Hugh. So Hugh, thanks for the question. This is one's for Michael. So if Michael, you just want to come off mute. Do you think that the rural areas in Zimbabwe are ready to embrace solar energy yet? And are there NGO projects using this for irrigation?
Okay, so I think when we talk about readiness, I would say that the areas are ready to embrace solar-powered irrigation systems. In terms of the environment, when you talk about the availability of the resource and and maybe other natural factors that might be needed for us to have such a technology. But in terms of the investment that has been put in solar-powered irrigation systems in Zimbabwe, I'm not sure if there are any that have been implemented yet. But to the best of my knowledge, I don't think they are there are any sort of like I mean, there could be. Obviously, there might be some smaller organizations that are running solar-powered irrigation systems. But when we look at developing a country using solar-powered irrigation systems, we are looking at doing this thing at a much larger scale. And I'm not aware of any large-scale solar-powered irrigation irrigation system in Zimbabwe. In terms of how the non-governmental organizations are getting involved in that aspect of the agricultural sector, I think I'm yet to find out a little bit more about what the status is like, but I haven't heard of anything that is happening at the moment. But I think having non-governmental organizations invest some money into that, I think it would be something that would be extremely beneficial to the economy, because when you look at when you look at the agricultural sector in Zimbabwe, I mean, ideally it should be one of the best agricultural sectors in the region, but because probably it's been mismanaged and because we do not have the power to power some of these irrigation systems, we're just where we are. So having non-governmental organizations invest into this, I think would be such a great fit for the country.
Brilliant. Yeah, I think we're going to hear more, in the future, on this. I know that there are, a lot of big kind of funders, thinking about this and how to kind of solve this problem. So hopefully we'll see in the future, more funding come through and, big kind of large scale investment and capacity release in this area, because it's such a huge commodity that Africa benefits from with the sun. So yeah, excellent. Okay, I think we might just be out of time, but what we'll do, we'll keep the questions open in the Q&A, and in the final panel section we'll try and get to a few more. But thanks so much for that. I'm going to hand back to Nick now, who's going to continue the session. Thanks everybody.
Thank you so much to Nathan and Leslie, Michael and Tombi. It's so inspiring to hear your words, and I think the questions that have come through, I think reflect that other people are also inspired just to hear your stories and hear what you have gone through and what you want to give back. It's just superb. So thank you so much for that time, and yes, please do stick around, because there are several questions that people would like to ask in the final Q&A. Right, now that we've gone through the conversation, we'd just like to do the sort of a final video. So next we have Mark and Laura just wanted to take this opportunity to send their thanks after what I think we can all agree was quite a tumultuous 2020.
Hi, we're the Albertine family.
This is Mark and Laura Albertine, co-founders of Makomborero. Thank you for joining us this evening. We so appreciate you being here and your continued support over the years.
We also understand what a tough year it's been for the world over. COVID has changed our lives in unimaginable ways. And I think being able to run an event like this online is incredible as well. Mark and I are incredibly thankful to our UK board for their continued support of us, and to our Zimbabwe board as well. They have stood by us through thick and thin over the last 10 years, and we are very grateful. We hope you have enjoyed this evening, and we look forward to meeting some of you during the question and answer time.
Righty-ho, thank you very much for that. So now, unfortunately, we've come to the end of the evening. So we're coming to our final segment of this year's event. And this is our question and answer session, which is open to our UK trustees, the alumni, and our founders, Mark and Laura, who I see are logged in from Harare. Just for you, just before we start that, I wanted to say a few words for the new. Bear with me a second. Yes, for the new visitors or supporters who are joining us for the first time. As some of you may know, we have over 500 applications each year for 8 or 9 scholarships to the 3 private schools in Harare. So these scholarships are to Gateway, Hellenic and St. George's in Harare. And currently we have 18 internal students, 9 in their lower 6th and 9 just coming to the end of their upper 6th. And it's good to see that now we actually have a nice split of, there's actually 9 girls and 9 boys. So that's really pleasing to see that the number of girls joining Makomborero has picked up. We also now have currently got 24 external students, which are the students that don't quite make it to the top 8 or 9, but are very deserving, and we actually support them to continue their A-level studies at their existing high schools. And we currently have 24 of those, 10 in the lower 6th, 10 in the upper 6th and 14 in the lower 6th. So those are the students that we currently are supporting. In addition, please do check out the website for further information, where we also support the Girl Mentorship Program. We have the Mobile Science Lab, and we also do a number of projects and grants for students studying at the University of Zimbabwe and other universities in Zimbabwe. Right, I think that covers it for now. So if I would ask the various trustees and the alumni to switch on their videos. If you stay muted until we ask you a question. Just a reminder to everybody that if you want to ask a question, please submit it via our Q&A system at the bottom, and our Q&A elves will direct the questions to the relevant person. So if I may, I'll hand over to our Makomborero elves for the first question.
Sure, no problem. Thanks. So basically, the first question we have is, I think we can direct this to Mark and Laura. The first question is, how many of the Makomborero alumni actually end up working in Zimbabwe?
Hi guys, and thank you to everyone who's been with us tonight, and the Makomborero team in the UK have done a great job. So we've been running for 10 years. So, and I would say quite a number of our first few sort of students have gone through school that end up getting scholarships overseas. But more and more we found kids going through local universities. I would say of those that have graduated here in Zimbabwe, probably about 20 now are working in Zimbabwe. And then obviously those that have graduated outside the country quite often stay for a few years to get some work experience. Obviously we're hopeful that they'll come back also. But I would say roughly about 20 are currently working in Zimbabwe of our graduates.
All right, thank you, Mark.
So I have a question for Michael. How do you anticipate the infrastructure for renewable energy systems will be financed given the economic situation in Zimbabwe?
Okay, thank you for the question. So what I think is the best way to go is that when you look at the country's budget and look at the maybe some of the funds that are being allocated to some of these things, we could think of it as that it's almost impossible for us to say maybe want to invest into renewable energy, but then there are other ways that we can finance these projects. Let's say, for example, we look at maybe the African Development Bank, because there are finances that are available in some of these organizations that are there for some of these projects. And when I look at the recent report on the African Development Bank, it's one of the key things that they want to do, that they want to electrify the continent. So which means there are actually funds that are available. But then when you look at the way that the countries in Africa are being governed, is that we get these funds, but then we don't see what exactly they do. So I don't think I don't think the finances is the actual problem, but it's rather the governing of these finances. So which is why I think we need people from organizations such as Makomborero, people who have been trained to lead, people who have been trained to serve the people, so that when we get these funds from such organizations, we can allocate them to what exactly they are supposed to be doing. So to answer the question in short, as a country, we might not have enough funds to finance renewable energy, but then there are other ways that we can finance renewable energy. And I believe that renewable energy is the way to go, especially when you look at Zimbabwe, a country that is so blessed with solar.
Michael for president.
Amen. That was brilliant. Thanks, Michael. Here's an interesting one, and it's addressed to all the alumni. So Leslie and Tombi, if you want to come off, if you want to put on your videos as well, we'll see who can answer this. So the question is, could the alumni tell us whether they think the education system in Zimbabwe will from now on heavily rely on non-profit players like Makomborero to sustain the national education levels? Who would like to go first? Ntombi, I'll start with you.
Okay, I would say the education in Zimbabwe is more of, well, I can't say we can rely on it, because most of the time it's like teachers went on strike, and the kids, they end up having, they end up not going to school for a longer period of time. And it's just like, you're learning there and you're not learning. So I think in the longer run, probably we will be like relying on the support from outside.
Yeah.
Can I quickly chip in here? Because I think lockdown has actually forced us all into a situation, particularly in education in Zimbabwe, with certainly the schools that have great resources to record lots of lessons. We've ended up recording lessons. And I think that's going to provide a wonderful resource if we can tap into that and actually use it with the government schools and actually make it freely available to them, which is actually one of our goals currently. So I think we can actually help ourselves. I think we've created amazing resources this year.
Mark, do you want to tell maybe our guests about, for instance, what we have been doing with regards to using technology to educate people outside of Makomborero? So for instance, the technology that you've been provided with and the like.
Yeah, thanks, Tanat. What we've decided to do is to actually purchase a number of tablets, some reasonably priced tablets, and we're going to be taking lessons we already have, but also making some lessons that we're going to put onto these tablets to create like a curriculum that pupils can use to help them cover the courses. It doesn't replace in-person teaching, but it certainly is a cheap and reasonable way of actually educating children.
And I think what we've noticed is that, this year our students, particularly our external upper six and lower six, have lost out on 9 months of education because of COVID lockdown, and they weren't in schools that gave the opportunity for them to learn. And I think we've seen this as an incredible opportunity. And as Mark said, we've got those resources. So it's now, I wish we had it this year, but I think this year's highlighted that going forward, we can provide this opportunity for our external students. And it means that when they do get to write their exams, they're prepared. So our poor upper sixes are writing this year, just about to start writing their A-levels at the start of this coming week. And they've had very little in-classroom teaching. And we've had to provide data and access to Khan Academy and all sorts of other educational facilities. And we feel, as Mark was saying, we can do a better job of that.
Brilliant, thank you.
Great, and we've got one other question from Mark and Laura, and that, is there any chance that another private school may come on board to provide more A-level scholarships, particularly for girls?
I don't know how to answer that. No, Well, ironically, very recently we traveled to Bulawayo and were staying with someone who's actually the head of a school in Bulawayo, and they've expressed an interest in maybe linking in with us somehow in that. So that would be great. It's a co-ed school, so it'll provide for boys or girls. And I think, we secretly hope one day that we will bring in more private schools. Saying that, we do like the personal touch. We know if we get too big, I believe sometimes we might lose some of the things we do with our pupils, which really gets them, I suppose, set up for future life. Because I think one of our goals is that it's the pupils that we do impact that actually will ultimately help the masses in Zimbabwe.
Yeah. And I think we wouldn't mind if people replicated what Makomborero does throughout Zimbabwe. We're not holding this model as like, this is ours. I think it's a very easily replicable model. Sorry, it's badly put.
Sorry for just jumping in there, Mark. But Mark and Laura, what would you consider is too big? You say too big there in terms of at the moment we have 8 lower 6 and 8 upper 6. If you had to increase capacity, what would be a maximum?
We'd love 20 in the boarding house.
Sure.
We could effectively
nice round number. Yeah.
Why not 24? Let's go for 24.
Brilliant, thank you. We have one more question. It's again addressed to all the alumni. So it's similar to what was answered before, but what's your view, and this is to the alumni, what's your view on the effect of COVID-19 on education in Zimbabwe? That's the first part. And what can be done by Makomborero alumni to make their mark in their communities to help other students? Is Leslie still with us?
Yes, I'm struggling to start my video though.
That's okay, we can hear you clearly though.
Okay, let me just do this. Sorry, can you ask the question again? I can't see it.
No problem. It's in 2 parts. The first part is, what do you think is the effect of COVID-19 on education in Zimbabwe? And then the second part is, what do you think the alumni can do to help their communities?
To the first part, I think the effect has been disastrous, because I'm talking from a personal point of view. I've been talking to my other relatives back in Zimbabwe, and they're saying that ever since there's been the lockdown, there isn't much education that has been happening, and which means that there's need to catch up on that. But then in Zimbabwe, because of the economic crisis, already teachers were going on strike. So it's COVID-19 has just added another problem on top of another problem. And maybe what the other Makomborero students can do to help is maybe just gather a few students who are maybe in the writing classes and give lessons. I remember we used to do that when we were with Makomborero, where we would visit a few schools or even invite a few students over and just give them a few lessons to just help out. Yeah.
Can I just add something to that?
Absolutely, go for it.
Yeah, so I think like Leslie mentioned, the biggest challenge is really the economy. So the economy is responsible for the data challenge, because the biggest challenge is actually the data. So if we're going to, COVID-19 has affected everyone in the world, but then for some of the people, they've managed to cope with the problem because they have enough internet infrastructure for people to use. But then when you look at the Zimbabwean situation, it's like most of the students do not have access to data. So, but then what you notice when you travel around Zimbabwe in the areas that we come from, it's that people have access to WhatsApp. And I think it's one of the avenues that people can use to provide solutions for online learning, because when you look at things like maybe you could try to give people a set of questions that they can probably go through, and then you provide PDF solutions that you can share on WhatsApp. So the idea is like, we are in a situation whereby people don't have data, and the best thing to use is WhatsApp. So I think the best thing to do is to innovate around WhatsApp and try and make sure that we've got we provide at least something that would help especially the exam classes.
Wow, I like the way you think. You're such an innovator, constantly thinking. Over to you, Nick.
Well, in that case, I think this is the perfect opportunity to thank everybody. I think we've been through a lot of the questions, and thank you to all of the attendees for submitting a lovely selection of questions. It was good to be able to raise them with our alumni, and also it was particularly nice to be able to see Mark and Laura in Hawaii. And those of you that may have not already guessed, when our alumni were talking about Mr. and Mrs. A, that's of course Mark and Laura. So really, I think that's it now, unfortunately. So I just wanted to thank you all for joining us this evening. We hope you have enjoyed this slightly unusual event, and we do hope that next year we'll be able to meet face-to-face once more. Please keep your eyes open for the launch of the Big Give next week. Our newsletter will be going out, and I'm sure you'll see it on social media. And I think this is the perfect opportunity to also send out our heartfelt thanks to Jill Roberts in Hawaii, who has done an amazing job putting together our videos, and they are truly superb, and we will obviously be sharing those on our YouTube channel and through Facebook in the coming weeks. So we thought, with a smile on their face, and actually here is another of Jill's masterpieces. So we wanted to play out this evening with Makomborero Zimbabwe's take on the Jerusalem Challenge. So with that, we'd just like to say good night and thank you so much.
Jerusalema ikhaya lami, ilondoloze uhambe nami, zungangishilana. Jerusalema ikhaya lami, ilondoloze uhambe nami, zungangishilana. Dawo yami ayikholana, buso wami awukholana. Ilondoloze zuhambe nami, dawo yami ayikholana, buso wami awukholana. Ilondoloze dawo yami ayikholana, buso wami awukholana. Ilondoloze zuhambe nami, dawo yami ayikholana, buso wami awukholana. Ilondoloze